When she first appeared on the music scene, she captured the attention of record labels as a backup vocalist with little to no technical training. Presently, she is known as one of the most influential artists that Britain has ever seen. Like a silent storm, her band's simplistic style overtook the radio stations, yet Sade herself stays far away from the spotlight, leaving many to wonder just who is Sade. Hello and welcome back to True Celebrity News, your true source of celebrity information. Today, we will be doing a deep dive into the life of the sophisticated mystery, Sade, to theorize about why she stays hidden from the public eye. If you enjoy smooth jazz and R&B, stay tuned and make sure to like this video to see more like it. Sade was born Helen Sade Adu to an interracial couple in Ibadan, Nigeria. Her father, a Nigerian man, was an economics professor and her mother an English nurse. The two met while her father was abroad studying at the London School of Economics and Political Science. Once they married, the two moved back to Nigeria to settle down and start their family. When Sade was born, no one ever referred to her by her English name, Helen. Instead, they mainly referred to her by her Yoruba name, Fola Sade, then eventually just Sade. One of her only attachments she would have to her father when she and her brother were moved back to England following her parents' divorce. Surprisingly, a singing career was never the dream of a young Sade. Her passion was literature, and she wanted to become a writer, but somehow found herself at an art school trying to become a painter. However, by the time she was 17, she had pivoted her interest from art to fashion. Although, Sade admits that she did not have much of a passion for fashion. She simply wanted a skill that she could make a stable living off of. She told Fader magazine she did not even enjoy her time in the fashion world. She states, "I wanted to do painting, but I ended up in fashion because I wanted to make a living off of it. To have a trade, which was very much how I was brought up. But I didn't fit in. I wasn't reverent about fashion. I didn't love it at all." Frustrated with her life as a men's fashion designer, Sade was looking for something that scratched her artistic itch, and soon enough that would come her way. As previously mentioned, Sade had no interest in becoming a singer. In fact, when a couple of her old friends from school needed her to fill in as a vocalist for their band, she reluctantly agreed under the condition that they would only be until they found a proper singer. But from there, she found that she took a liking to performing songs as a vocalist. She would then go on to become a backup singer for the Latin funk band, Pride. Unlike with her friend's garage band, Pride was popular. So popular that when she first auditioned with them, they rejected her. Can you imagine rejecting Sade? Now, because this group was more popular, it meant that she had to perform in front of much larger audiences, which triggered a stage fright that she had not had previously. In the official biography of the band Sade, featured on Sade.com, Sade says this about performing with Pride. "I used to get on stage with Pride, like, shaking. I was terrified, but I was determined to try my best, and I decided that if I was going to sing, I would sing the way I speak, because it is important to be yourself." And she held true to this philosophy, even after she stopped performing with Pride 3 years later. Despite absolutely loving her time spent as a backup singer in Pride, it was obvious that if Sade wanted to explore more of her musical ability, she would have to leave the band. This became all the clearer to her when she had co-written and performed the song Smooth Operator and attracted the attention of scouts all across Britain. The only problem was, Sade did not want to leave her bandmates behind, so she turned down the offers when she was told that talent scouts were not interested in signing the rest of Pride. Eventually, a record label by the name of Epic Records was able to convince her to sign with them, but it was under the condition that Sade was able to form a new band with 3 of her former bandmates. This includes saxophonist Stuart Matthewman, keyboardist Andrew Hale, and bassist Paul Spencer Denham. Around 2 years later, they released their first single, Your Love is King, which made a huge splash in the British charts, peaking at number 6. Separately, these 4 musicians might not have been too impressive, but together, they made a sort of clumsy magic that pulled the listener in with simple notes and lyrics. However, yet again, it was Sade that pulled in the people's attention. When we think about the band Sade, the first thing that most people think of is the understated yet sophisticated beauty of Sade. Her charm paired so well with the mature themes of their debut album, Diamond Life, and some would say that it was her charisma alone that sold the album. although her outer image did not quite match the lifestyle she was living. The fifth track of the album, When Am I Going to Make a Living, is truly an ode to the rough times Sade was facing while she wrote Diamond Life. In the official biography of the band Sade, they detail some of the unsafe conditions Sade was living in despite being signed to a major record label. The biography states, at the time of the first album, Diamond Life, in 1984, Sade's actual life was anything but diamond light. She was living in a converted fire station in Finsbury Park, North London, with her then boyfriend, the style journalist Robert Elms. There was no heating, which meant that she had to get dressed in bed. The loo, which used to ice over in winter, was on the fire escape. The bath was in the kitchen. Knowing this, it makes sense as to why Sade is so reluctant to participate in industry happenings like interviews. When she was struggling to sleep somewhere that was safe and warm while creating her first album, no one was knocking down her door for interviews. However, by the time she had released her next 3 studio albums, Promise, Stronger Than Pride, and Love Deluxe, she had gained immense popularity, and over the years, Sade the band had sold millions of copies, which meant they never had a shortage of places that wanted them to do a live performance. Therefore, they were touring for the remainder of the 1980s, which many would assume is the reason why it took her almost 4 years to produce her next album, Love Deluxe. But that was not the case. As she was in Spain shooting a few music videos for the album Promise, met, fell in love with, and married the assistant director Carlos Piego. As a result of their marriage, Sade relocated to Spain to live with him. Their love was fleeting, and according to Sade, very unhealthy for her. She tells Fader magazine very few details about the misfortune that love afforded her, but she says enough for us to understand that it was difficult. She states, "It was a very sad situation. I had to leave, very quickly, with a very small bag. It took 5 years for it to not to be something that affected the way I felt. It wasn't like I was crawling out of bed every day or anything like that, but it would have really undermined love for me to get over it quickly. If you really love someone, that's the way it is." After the end of her marriage, Sade began to really pull back from music. In the meantime, one of her relatives had fell ill and she needed to help her mother take care of her, which also kept her from devoting too much time to music. Then, she found herself falling in love again and having a baby in 1996. Therefore, the releases of her albums began to be farther and farther apart, until eventually, she really stops creating music altogether in 2010. In the previously mentioned interview with Fader, he reveals that unlike other artists, she is not able to and does not want to push out music when she is going through hardship, because she feels as if that would only be superficial to release music when your heart's not really in it. "If there's something big going on in my life, I can't switch it off in the middle and go make a record. Luckily, because I'm in the position that I don't have to work, I can put the people in my life as a priority. A relative of mine got very sick, and I was there looking after her with my mom. I couldn't walk away. You can talk about stuff and sing about stuff, but if you don't live it in the end, then it's all fake," Sade admits. In truth, there are many factors that drove Sade away from the limelight: love, loss, hardship, and eventually motherhood. However, it is safe to state that the invasive tactics of the media world is what keeps her away. Before fame, she was able to live a quiet life, meaning that when she was going through a rough patch, there was no one demanding that she record a song or asking her to make a statement on her personal matters. In the same interview with Fader magazine, she states, "After you make a record, your life changes. Beforehand, I was living my anonymous little life, but that whole machine that starts going when you make a record, it was all about how that change was going to affect my life and my new life as a mother." Now, Sade is back to releasing music. Her newest album, thus far, was released in 2020. She also told the radio show The Breakfast Club that she and her band were back in the studio in October of 2022. Tell us, are you excited to get new music from her again? What are your theories on why she stopped making music for so long? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time to hear about true celebrity news. Bye-bye.